morning, friends, and welcome back to my channel. Or if this is your first time here, then hi. My name is Carrington. Just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Click the little bell so you can be notified of all my future uploads. As well, if this is your 10th time, 100th time, 50th time, second time here, and you still have not yet hit that subscribe button, I absolutely invite you to do so. So that way you can join this dumpster fire, dumpster fire, dumpster fire of a channel. And let's go ahead and let's get into today's video. In today's video, it's my favorites and fails, things that I was loving in the month of November. I have quite a few fails, if we're going to be honest. Like it's quite a few fails. So let's just first off go ahead and let's talk about the favorites so we can blow through those, and then we can get right on into the fails. So first off, in favorites, I have these two lip liners from Charlotte Tilbury and from Pat McGrath. Okay, these lip liners are incredible. Are super pigmented, they are super creamy, and on top of that, these take a lot to get them to budge. So for someone like me who really enjoys a lip liner and then throwing on a gloss, or doing some like lip contouring or whatever, I really want something that is going to be budge proof, and these are definitely it. Especially sometimes I find that like if I'm using something not as doesn't have as good a staying power as this, but I might be doing like a liquid lipstick or something, I sometimes kind of notice that the lines kind of fade. So like the liquid lipstick might stay, but like the lines in my lips don't. And that's not something I'm loving. And I really do love just being able to like line my lips, fill them in with like some lip pencils, such as these, and then just throwing a gloss on top. I love that. That's definitely one of my like I'm in a hurry kind of a thing that I'm going to do, instead of like sitting here trying to draw out the lines and then fill them in so they look fine. Sometimes I'm just in a hurry. I just want to throw on a lip liner and throw on a gloss, and whenever you're having a gloss, those come off pretty easily. So if you're also having a lip liner that's coming off easily, then it's really easy for like your whole lip to fade within like a couple of hours, especially if you're like wearing a mask, drinking a lot, talking a lot, things like that. And so having lip liners like these that are just so foolproof, budge proof, stay in place even with a gloss on top is why these are definitely some of my favorites. Next up was from my Shop My Stash this month, and that is the ColourPop Just a Flush Cheek Palette. It has this highlighter, bronzer, and two blushes. I love this thing. Like, love this thing. First of all, the bronzer I feel like is so perfect for my skin tone, and it's not easy to go overboard. I feel like if you're somebody that easily goes overboard on bronzers, this is great because I may have to like really build it up. And for me, that's fine. I don't mind just like building it up. The blushes are both really beautiful colors. I feel like they kind of go, you have like a good choice. I feel like this is more bright. This one's kind of like a more mauve nude kind of a shade. Really great. The star of the show, however, is the Super Shock highlighter. I did not know that I was going to love a Super Shock highlighter as much as I do. Like, this is great. Look how beautiful that is. It swatches beautifully. It goes on beautifully. It did take a while for me to figure out how to best apply this. I was using like a normal highlighting brush, and that just wasn't really doing it. I do find that I do prefer my finger though. Like, I don't mind like placing it with my finger, like tapping it with my finger and then going in with a damp sponge, like on top, to really help blend that out. I find that to be like my favorite way. This is such a beautiful highlighter. I, again, did not realize how much I was going to love this quad. My daughter picked it out. I didn't know that I was going to necessarily love it as much. I did. This was totally worth the money. This I want to say is like $10 or $12 for like the quad. I feel like that's really fair for like what you get. Especially like this is so easy and cheap and compact that you could just easily travel with this, and you have like the perfect blushes, the perfect like highlighter, and a perfect bronzer just like all in one. This was such a good palette. Next up is this Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Sublime Skin Highlighter in Lunar Nude. This is beautiful. First of all, the embossing is super beautiful, but it's like this very like baked gelée texture. And like right here, you're probably like, that's gonna be way too dark for your skin. But just going in with like a nice like highlighting brush and then just really like packing it on, it just comes out so beautifully. This was such a good highlighter. It's just like, it's absolutely beautiful. I think this is like, did a great job. This is an expensive highlighter. Like, I'm not gonna lie, this was definitely like an expensive highlighter. It was up there in price. I'm thinking like $50 or something like that. It was up there in price. So I am almost like regretting like putting this in a favorite, but this instantly stole my heart when I tried this. I love the formula of this. I love the shine that it gives. I love the consistency, the texture. I love everything about this, the embossing, the packaging that it comes in. This just definitely feels and seems very luxurious, not just in like the packaging, but also in like the quality of the product and putting it on your face. It's so good. I think that if you did pick this up, you will enjoy this. I don't think you need to like rush out and get this, but if you do, or you want to purchase one thing from Pat McGrath, this is definitely high up there on my list. Next up from Jaclyn Hill are these shimmering top coats. So I have seen a lot of like negative reviews about these, and I'm not really 100% for sure like what people think or thinking like these would be, or what they were hoping would come from this. I don't know. I will say like when you swatch them, they look like they're going to be like very pigmented and very opaque. That is not the case. It does not have that type of opacity. You do have to build it up. You can get there with the opacity, but you do have to layer it on. I like these. I think they came in like some really cute colors. I wish you would expand on the colors a little bit, because these feel like really warm and gold kind of shades, but this is what it looks like. And then it feels wet. Like it feels wet. Here it is. And then you swatch it out and you see it's a little bit just kind of more like topperish shiny. And of course you can, you know, just continue to layer this a few times and you get more of that opacity. I really had no issues with these. I'm not sure I'm understanding why people are so upset about these, because I honestly, once I built them up like 2 or 3 times to the opacity that I wanted, they were beautiful. I've also used these a couple of times just this month, not even on camera, but like just this month, where I kind of played around with them just being like a topper, and they're still beautiful. Like I really do like these. I'm not usually one that's into like single kinds of things, like single eyeshadows, or, you know, like usually I'm just trying to grab into like a whole entire palette instead of like singles, but I could totally see myself reaching into these. It's a very unique, it's something different. It's not hard. It definitely like feels very creamy, wet. And then you can definitely build this up. So this is definitely like something that I think is worth the money. Next up, let's talk about for eyeshadow palettes that were definitely some favorites. I do have a palette ranking, and these, there are ones that were in my favorites that maybe I'm not talking about in this, because honestly, you're kind of going to see in my ranking. I'll link that video down below, but I wanted to talk about these 4 palettes because I think there's something really beautiful and really special about these. So I definitely wanted to bring these up. The first is going to be the Juvia's Place Mints. Now this did rank a little bit lower, you know, it wasn't one of the top, you know, 3 or whatever. But I think that for this being a quad and this being like a mint, which is kind of more of like that pastel, like this right here is definitely like a pastel. These show up beautifully. These are really nice and pigmented. I do find that like packing it on and then taking more product and blending it out is the way to go with these. But the fact that it's a pastel and I wasn't using a white base and I still got some really, really good like intensity out of this, I love this. I love like this color being able to deepen up. I don't feel like it's too similar. I feel like it really does add some depth and dimension. And then in terms of shimmers, you can go in with either or. But if you do choose to go in with both, I feel like they're different enough that they're going to like, you know, you have your middle and then you have your inner corner shade. I feel like these are going to be different enough that it's going to create something unique. If you use all of these, you could use this and this, you could use this and this, you could use these, you could use these. Like there's so many directions that you could go with this and still get something super unique. And I feel like that wasn't the case with a lot of the other quads in this. But with this, for sure, it's definitely different. It's unique. The color story is beautiful. The diversity is also absolutely beautiful. I would say if you were going to pick up one Juvia's Place quad, definitely this would be the one I would recommend. Next up is from Huda. This is the Wild Jaguar. This is so beautiful. I love like the dark grungy tones in this. I love like the amount of directions you could go. You could just use these 3 shades. You could use these mattes. You could use these mattes. You could use just these. You could use these. You could use these. Like you have like these two. Like you have such diversity again within the such diversity. I like how like you have like some grungy purples that you could go with. You have like some grungy greens. You have like this gold that you could use. Like you could just go a lot of different directions with this palette. I feel like the quality is really there. I would say if you want to pick up any of the Wild Obsessions, this is probably going to be the one that I would recommend. The quality is good, the color story is good, the diversity is good. I loved the looks that I have been able to create with this. I did one here on my channel. I will link that video down below just because I think that this is a really incredible palette. Next up is the Sydney Grace Enduring Love palette. I do love me a really nice cool toned palette. I find, however, whenever we talk about like more like cool toned, I feel like it's mostly like gray or browns, but I love how this palette gives you kind of like some purples, some pinks in there as well. You've got like a cool toned blue, and not just like the fact that this definitely gives you some variety in terms of cool tones, but her shimmer formula is seriously wild to me. Like it is so beautiful. Sydney Grace makes an incredible shimmer formula. She really, really does. The mattes are also super pigmented and buttery and blendable. The color story, if you are wanting like a really beautiful, cool toned kind of a color story, I would say definitely look into this. I know there's the Natasha Denona Glam, but I feel like in the Natasha Denona Glam, you get like 5 mattes. This one, you get definitely a lot more than that. You get about 7 or 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I think 8. You get like 8 mattes and the rest are shimmers. I feel like that definitely gives a lot of like diversity. You have a lot more tones. I think this is great if you are a cool tone lover. They also have this in like a deep option. So if you are in deeper skin tone, so I would say medium tan to deeper than that, they have an option for you. And then they have this light version, which would be good, you know, for like medium skin tones or, you know, lighter. Of course, you can always pick whichever one you would like. There's no rules in makeup, but there are those options. And I think like just the formula is so great. Those shimmers are wowing. This palette is the last palette we're going to talk about for favorites. And I mean, first of all, just like the thought that they put into these palettes, and these are really fairly priced palettes. I'm not going to lie, these are really fairly priced. But like, look at that packaging. Look at how beautiful that is. I love how like on this box right here, you have like, you know, a spooky theme. And then on the back, it like tells you about like, it like sucks you in with like the most beautiful like story of like this palette. So good. But on top of the packaging being, you know, incredible and amazing, this color story is amazing. I love like the imprints. You know, you've got like gravestones, like castle, you've got bats, you've got coffins, you've got like a forest. Like they have so much attention to detail with this palette. I love how buttery and soft these are. Like the shimmers are just so buttery and soft. And the mats are the exact same way. They are all so pigmented, buttery, soft, in your face. I mean, look at that. All of it is just so beautiful. And they all work so well together. This palette is incredible. Like, I wish this would have come out sooner so I had more of the ability to play with it for longer. But I am glad that I have that in my collection now. And I'm going to seriously just continue getting use out of this. So one favorite I'm going to mention that is not a makeup is going to be this book right here called The Woman in Cabin 10. I had finished this recently, and honestly, I may have put this in last month's favorites and fails, but I honestly can't remember, and I didn't see it when I went back to look, but I was also skimming kind of quickly, so maybe I missed it. Okay, this book had me like grasped in within like the first few chapters, and it just kept getting even more and more wild. And then at the end, I literally read over half of it in a day because I was so sucked in that I could not put this down until I figured out what happened. This is definitely more of like a psychological like thriller. There's a girl named Lo, and it starts off with something happens to her at her home, and so it puts her really on edge and really uneasy. But then she goes on a cruise for her job, and some really like odd things start happening, and she notices that there's a woman in cabin 10, right? And then the next thing she knows, this woman has just disappeared, and she is 100% certain that she saw this lady in cabin 10, but they haven't ever gone, you know, to land yet. They're still just cruising along, and she can't ever find this girl. Nobody in the cabin, you know, but nobody on the cruise has ever seen this girl, ever heard of this girl. The person that was supposed to be in cabin 10, you know, there's nobody like listed there. And so it's definitely like a psychological thriller of her trying to find this woman in cabin 10. Definitely like a wild story. If you're definitely into like psychological thrillers and you love like mysteries, and like every time you like start a new chapter or a new section, you know, something new and wild and crazy happens, I think this is definitely going to be a great book that you will definitely want to check out. So I would definitely recommend this book. I'm currently working on a book right now, and let me just say, it's going to be a long time before I get through that, because it is just like not the best. Like, I find it so boring. It's like it's called like the Secrets of the Wicked Sisters or whatever, but like nothing about Cinderella is in it, and it's just really hard to get through. That's all I'm gonna say, is that it's hard to get through. Whoa, excuse me. So this was definitely like a really good book. I would say definitely check this out. So then we've got some fails, aka a lot of fails. So first fail up is going to be this Profusion Highlight and Contour Palette. This is in shade 1. Okay, I do not know. Oh, I broke it. Like, I don't know. The one that says Light Sculpt is too light for me, but the Tan Sculpt is too dark for me. And then when you mix them together, it still doesn't work out for me. So I've even tried like combining the tan one with like this, like, I don't know. It just makes it like a weird gray color. Like, I don't know. It's just not a good palette. Like, this is the Highlight and Contour 1. So I feel like with this being a 1, there's not a Highlight and Contour 0. It's a 1. And I can't even get like one of these shades to really work for me. I really don't like this palette. I do keep this just because sometimes, you know, I can sometimes get use out of it. And I feel like I am about ready to hit pan on this shade right here. And once I've hit pan on that, and maybe this, I can get rid of it. Next up is this Milk Hydro Grip. I used this all last month. I've used up quite a bit of this. This is a mini. It has 10 mils in it, so not a whole lot, but it has 10 mils. I don't get the hype with this. I don't get it. I used it and like it's okay. I don't feel like it was any more sticky than some of the other primers I use. It says Hydro Grip. I really did not feel it did any sort of hydrating at all. So I wasn't a fan of that. I just don't think it was like extraordinary. I don't know. Like I personally don't really care for this product. Didn't find it hydrating, didn't really find it that sticky. So I'm like, if you're a Hydro Grip and you don't really do any of the hydrating or gripping, what is the point of this? I still don't know what the point of this is, but I am not a fan. Next up are these cream shadows. I think these are beautiful. It's just my eye shape. They are very hooded, creasy, downturned, and my eyes do just that. They crease and like literally it'll look like patches are gone from my eye. It does not matter what base I use, don't use, if I set it with setting powder, if I don't, no matter what I do, just liquid and cream shadows just like don't really last on me for a super long time. I'm okay with that. So for me, these are just fails. Like having liquid and cream shadows to me are just automatic fails because I know they're not going to work for me in my eyes. I just know that. And that's okay. Not everything's going to work for everybody. And unfortunately with my eye shape, these just aren't going to work for me. All right, so next up is this Uoma by Sharon C. Flawless in Real Life Skin Perfecting Foundation. This is one that you get at Walmart. So Uoma has their own brand and they have Uoma by Sharon C. where they do sell it in Walmart. So I did pick this up at Walmart. Here's the thing with this. I find if I do one light pump, it doesn't really cover up a whole lot of my redness, imperfections, blemishes, anything like that. It doesn't do any of that. So then I'm like, well, let's just add more pumps. Okay, well, then it does cover up those things, but it doesn't sink into the skin. It just sits there. And you can definitely tell that it is sitting there. You can feel it on your skin. You can see it. Like when you look in the mirror, I mean, you can just see it just sitting on your skin. I don't like that. And this is supposed to be a skin perfecting foundation. But the only way it's skin perfecting is if I'm layering it and then it's setting on the skin. Like you can tell, like on this, like you can't really tell that it's like setting on my skin. Like it looks like it's sank into my skin. It is not the case for this. This is not a good product. If you are somebody with like perfect skin or you're wanting like a day-to-day foundation where you could just like throw this on, spot conceal, head out the door, you might like this. But as for me, I generally do like a medium coverage. Like I'm definitely like a medium coverage. I don't want full coverage. And there are times I do like a light tint. But if I'm going for something that's a light tint, I'm probably going to pick like a tinted moisturizer or tinted sunscreen or something along those lines. This really doesn't have like any extra like, sun protection or anything like that. So for this, I would want more coverage without it looking like it's on my skin. Next up is this Pat McGrath Artistry Wand. I tried using this out when I was telling about murders that happened on Thanksgiving. And I tried out a whole bunch of Pat McGrath products. I don't get this. I don't get it. I don't get it. I have tried using it so many times. Like here it is on my hand and it feels like wet. It doesn't feel sticky. And as soon as you put it on, right now, it feels wet. But whenever I would go and put like the stuff on my eyes, I don't think it did anything extra than as if I just wetted a brush. So like instead of spending however much this is, which it's Pat McGrath, so it's going to be more expensive. I think it's like $30, something like that. So instead of like spending $30 on this, I can literally get like a setting spray from the drugstore for like $10 and it worked that good, if not better. So I don't think you should waste your money on this. If I'm using it wrong, let me know. Let me know. Or are you guys in agreement so this probably isn't worth the money? Let me know all that down below. All right, so then we're going to talk about some things from Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics. So first off is this hydrating under eye primer. I tried the whole Jaclyn holiday collection. I tried a couple other Jaclyn things. One of them was this hydrating under eye primer. This burns underneath my eyes. I do not understand. I don't know what's in this that is making it burn as much as it is, but my eyes burn. My under eyes burn whenever I put this on. So I'm like, I don't want something that's burning my under eyes. Like, that's a no for me. Like, I'm not having something that's burning my under eyes. So I don't know if this is going to be like something that's going to affect everybody. It could not. But just for me, it does burn my eyes. So that's a fail for me. Two other things. I want to say these, okay, let me just start off. These aren't necessarily fails, but they're not necessarily favorites. They lean more towards fails. And here's what I mean. These liquid lipsticks are drying. I mean, they will dry out your mouth. I mean, like literally. Okay, SpongeBob, visiting Sandy. Okay, right? That's what my lips are doing. They need water. It's just very, very drying. With these lip lacquers, they're just very heavy, and you can feel them being heavy and very sticky. Now, the reason why these aren't complete and total fails is that I was able to put this on in that video, go to work. I even wore this to one of my Thanksgivings, and the staying power is incredible. Like, these will stay. Now, these will stay at the price of your lips feeling heavy and dry. But I will say that the lip lacquer, I guess, lasted a lot longer than any other gloss, lip lacquer, whatever I have tried. But then after eating, because I did kind of like coat the whole lip with the liquid lipstick and then go in the center. After I got done eating, the center was gone. But where just the liquid lipstick was in the corners was still there. Still there, as if I had just applied it. So if these are fails in the fact that they are very uncomfortable, but these are also really good if you are going someplace, or you are cooking Thanksgiving, or you're having a family event and you need makeup that is not going to move. You need lips that are going to be there until you die. Literally. Because even trying to take them off, it was a lot. These are the products that are going to make it last. So these are not something I would use every day. Honestly, these are things I probably wouldn't use very often. But if I'm going somewhere, like a holiday party, or like a meeting or something where I need some good makeup and I need it to last, or I'm having an important event or something, that's what I'm going to go with. That is what I'm going to reach for. As uncomfortable as it may be, I know that that's going to last me. So although it's a fail, it's also kind of good. Okay, last makeup product before we get into the 3 palette fails. This I Heart Revolution Unicorn Heart Glow Mist with Vitamin E. I hate this. The mister is nice, and it does smell like cotton candy. If we made vodka cotton candy, that's what this would smell like. So I don't mind the smell. I don't mind the mist. What I mind is the stupid glitter in this. Okay, not only does this get on your face, it literally gives you glitter herpes. That's right, folks. You heard it here. Glitter herpes. Now you're probably like, well, what does that mean? All right, you get this. You get blue, pink, purple, champagne, glitter, oranges kind of, glitter sparkles on your face, in your hair, on your outfit, all around your workspace, and it feels like they're never gonna leave. That you're gonna be stuck with glitter for the rest of your life. Now, if I'm gonna use glitter, I'm gonna put some on my eyes. Like I got some glitter on my eyes today. I don't want it everywhere else. I just want it on my eyes. So the fact that this gets glitter everywhere. And if your dogs, cats, horses, cows, or neighbors are nearby, they're going to get some glitter too. That's just how it is. So this is a no. So now here we are to talk about the 3 palettes. So the first palette is going to be the Huda Beauty Wild Python. Now, I just don't think this color story makes a whole damn lick of sense. I feel like that was very, very like country. I don't know. I get rid of this. Put like a very like forest green, olive green, like maybe like the color of this package right here. You know, keep those. And then make this more green for that special shade. I feel like that would make a lot more sense than whatever in the hell is going on here. Because this color story doesn't make a lot of sense. The quality of the mattes and the shimmers are nice. I just think the color story, I'm just like, no. Following with the same Huda Beauty Wild Obsession, we have this Tiger palette. All right, this is just like your basic neutral palette, which is fine. Like, I do like a neutral palette. Like, I have plenty of neutral palettes. So you're probably like, well, then what the hell is your issue, Carrington? Okay, well, like, let me get there, Diane. Jeez, trying to get there. So the issue that I have with this palette is that with these mattes, you have to build and build and build. And even then, they are not coming out that great. But you have to build. And then this shade right here is so hard panned. And it's more like that topper shade, which is fine, but like, I don't know, it's just so hard panned. It is not that great. This whole palette, just like for $29, I could find a neutral palette that's a better quality. It's going to do you a whole lot better. The last and final palette and the fails. Okay. This Juvia's Place Rebel Gray palette. This is the worst palette. The worst palette that I've tried in a long time. All right. Probably not the worst ever, but we're bordering there. So first of all, you have this matte. The matte is somewhat decent. This is the only matte in the whole palette. The issue with like this is that it just doesn't ever build up to this intensity. It just doesn't. And you know, that's not necessarily always a deal breaker, but when this is your only matte in the palette, I would like to be able to go in lightly and then be able to, you know, go in more heavy and get this kind of depth and dimension. And you just don't. It basically just is very light all the way around. Then you have this stupid satin shade. And this satin shade literally is so glittery. And when you put it on your eyes, it literally looks like a Robo Sparkle glitter cop. That's what it looks like. I'm just like, what is going on? Like, this is not a good look. And then these 2 shimmers right here look very different in the pan. They look very different when you swatch them. But when you put them on the eye next to each other, it looks the exact same thing. Exact same. Why do I feel like what I'm saying is not making sense? They look the exact same on the lid. They look exactly the same. Nothing is different about them. Not one damn thing is different about these. I just feel like this palette just sucks. Like, honestly, just skip over it and buy something else. You know, buy the Mints one. That one's pretty good. That one's great. Buy any other Wonder palette. Buy the Nomad palette. That's a really good one. The Nomad palette's really good. Just buy something else. That is not good. All right. And that is it for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, then definitely make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up. That lets me know, that lets YouTube know that you are enjoying this type of content, as well as let me know some of your favorites and your fails down below. What are you loving? What are you not loving? Let me know all that down below. If you have made it to this end and you still have not yet hit the subscribe button, I absolutely invite you to do so. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.